Okay, what I'm about to say flies in the face of pretty much all conventional email marketing wisdom, and I am sure that I'm going to get some hate for this one, but I'm going to do it anyway. Ready? Here it is. Stop worrying so much about your subject lines in your emails and start worrying about your first sentence instead. Look, the subject line of an email is very important. No two ways about that. But so many email marketers get caught up chasing clicks, they forget what the purpose of an email actually is. To be read. The truth is, creating a compelling subject line is not that hard to do. Seriously, if you are a beginner copywriter, just go to YouTube. That's where I'd start. Look at the video titles that compulsively make you click, the ones that hijack your attention and force you to watch. And pay special attention to the ones that make you click when they're about subjects that you're not even that interested in. Those are winners. Notice how they generate curiosity, intrigue, mystery. That's the secret sauce. And once you figure it out, you'll probably agree with me on subject lines. They're kind of just light work. But your first sentence, oof, different story entirely. Check it out. If your email was a cluster of buildings in a large metropolitan area like New York City, then your first sentence is that corner store on Fifth Avenue. It's prime real estate. That first sentence, especially in the case of a welcome series or when you're interacting with your audience for the first time, is the single most important thing you'll write in your whole email. Why? Because it will shape the entire relationship your audience has with you. It sets the tone for everything else to come. More importantly, though, it's really not that hard to get someone to open an email. It's called clickbait. What is hard is to get someone to keep reading your email. So how can you do that? Well, there are three ways I like to go about this. Number one, shock them. Number two, intrigue them. And number three, drop the veil. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, first off, shock them. And that's basically just what it sounds like. I'm going for a shock value first sentence. My goal is to say something so outrageous my audience has to keep reading just to see where the heck this thing is going. Take this one, for example. The last time I was this sore, I woke up drunk, bleeding, and in a holding cell in Mexico City, wearing someone else's shoes. Pretty out there, right? But I bet if nothing else, you at least want to know how that story ends. And that's the magic. Pro tip though, shock value only works if the rest of your story is as interesting as the beginning was. Otherwise, it's just more clickbait and it will backfire on you. Okay, number two, intrigue them. Simple enough. I want to write a sentence that leaves them wondering, how the heck did he do that? Or, wow, I would have never thought that way. Try this one out for size. In 2023, I adopted one weird, kind of gross, but incredibly effective way to close more sales through my email list than ever before. Boom, I've just locked in your curiosity. Who doesn't want to make more money from their email lists? And it's something weird and gross? Well, maybe I'm not really that into that, but I definitely want to find out what it is that you're doing. I've hooked you with my first sentence, and now you want to keep reading to find out that answer. Okay, last one here. Number three, dropping the veil. Now, this one is probably going to make a lot of you uncomfortable, if I'm totally honest, because you're most likely not used to speaking to your audience like this, especially over email. Let me tell you though, this one absolutely does work. So, dropping the veil is all about one thing and one thing only. Absolute vulnerability. The stuff that you're too embarrassed to tell your friends, family, or spouse, yep, that's what you're going to lead with. The time that you filed for bankruptcy, the moment you cheated on an ex, the day that you lied on a job application. Look, it doesn't have to inherently be something negative, but it does have to be honest. And let's be real, if it's embarrassing and you don't want to tell your friends or family about it, chances are it's probably negative. But that real humanness, that's the good stuff. That's what your audience really wants to know about you. That's how they wish to interact with you. Here's an example from an email I recently wrote for my own list. I was 7 years old the first time I was arrested. My mom and dad had a fight. I got scared, and the next day I took my dad's gun to school. After that, nothing was ever the same. Sheesh, even talking about that makes me hot in the face. It's true. My whole life radically changed after that one innocent mistake. It changed who I am as a person. It caused immeasurable pain for my family and for me. I'm embarrassed about it. I feel shame about it to this day. But it's real and it's part of my story. And that's why I created an audience in the first place, to share stories. My point is this. If you're afraid to say something, just know that you might actually be sitting on gold. Okay, final tip for you here before I let you go. No matter how you choose to start your first sentence in your email, if you don't follow it through later, you're going to burn your relationships. What I mean is, if you start with shock value, you better keep that tension up for at least 25 to the first 30% of your email. If you start with intrigue, you better follow through with what that new tip is that you're using. And if you drop the veil, you better not hold back. But just a quick little reminder here, make sure you wrap that story around so that it relates to your audience or your product at the end. Well, those are the top 3 tips that I have for you about writing the most important sentence of your email. Give it a shot, give this post a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.